What you get for the money. Today in upstate New York, a couple brings some Soho chic into their newly renovated loft. And in Toledo, Ohio, a spacious colonial that comes with lots of luxurious perks. 6 homes for $200,000, just ahead on what you get for the money. Welcome to What You Get for the Money. I'm Mike Siegel. Our first homeowner started his first business at age 12. By 21, the young entrepreneur and his fiancée began renovating a strip of old industrial buildings an hour outside of Ithaca, New York. What they got was an exciting new business venture and one cool loft. About 30 years ago, an excess of abandoned warehouses turned into residential lofts and began to make Soho into one of New York's hippest, albeit most expensive, neighborhoods. And in a way, Soho's revitalization explains what Ari Meisel and fiancée Anna Temin are doing 3 hours upstate in Binghamton, New York.
Ari and I live in Soho part of the time and in Binghamton part of the time.
One of the things that is appealing about Binghamton, especially compared to a city like New York, is that the cost of living here is about 1/10 of what it is in New York City.
And for Ari, a 24-year-old self-employed real estate developer, the commute's not really an issue. As for Anna,
I work for Ari, and so basically anywhere he goes, I go. So we set up our office where we are. I love coming here, and I love everything that the city has to offer, from its quiet surroundings to its cultural appeal.
Plus, there's plenty of work in Binghamton, a town that reminds Ari of the Soho of his childhood.
This is Soho 30 years ago, basically. It's a small, quaint kind of town with some really interesting shops that you wouldn't expect in a town this size. They have the best fudge here, and the art galleries too. They're really coming up a lot with a lot more art galleries. It just reminds me of what Soho was like when I grew up there. It's a big town with a small town feeling.
To put his money where his mouth was, Ari took on almost $2 million in construction loans for a bank of 8 buildings less than 10 minutes from downtown.
Well, I originally found these buildings, which were built in the 1880s. They were cigar factories primarily, and then a meat packing company. And then I've taken 3 of the buildings and turned them into Soho-style luxury lofts. Our particular loft is actually right here.
At 1,100 square feet, Ari and Anna's loft is one of the smallest in the building. But regardless of size, Ari's design never strayed from the loft concept.
You walk into this really large open space, which is the whole point. It's supposed to kind of hit you. And the spaces in this loft, as with most lofts, are defined by the furniture. So the pool table is kind of its own area. The couch makes up the living room, and the bed defines the bedroom, even though we don't have a wall around our bedroom. The bathroom is the only actual room in the whole place, and that makes it kind of a center point that everything radiates around.
Ari also worked around the building's original structure.
We kept a lot of the original elements of the building, like this hemlock column, which then ended up being a set point for me to create the rest of the kitchen. It's there anyway. You're not going to take it out, so either it's going to be right in the middle of your sink, or you're going to make it a corner of the kitchen.
Ari designed the gourmet kitchen with a chef in mind, himself.
Usually Ari will be cooking while I'll be practicing my pool.
There's just one thing missing.
We had a dining room table when we first moved in, and we got rid of it, and we never bought another one.
That's right.
Unfortunately, we don't have the very kind of sit-down dinners that are recommended for healthy relationships, but...
Sometimes we cover over the pool table to make a big table.
As for the bathroom, it's the only real room in the place.
In designing this bathroom, I wanted to make one entire wall out of glass block, like here, and I had originally purchased a glass door to go around the shower, but we couldn't really figure out how to attach it, so I ended up leaving it completely open.
Ideally, I would have even let the bathroom open, but I needed some privacy, I guess.
Although Anna wasn't involved in the initial design, she's a big fan of the loft lifestyle.
When I met Ari, he was just putting the finishing touches on this loft.
I was still doing some sandblasting, actually.
Yeah, and I helped him with that, which was actually very fun. It was the first time I wore a construction hat, and I was with the boys and the crew.
As for the other buildings, Ari's still overseeing the construction.
This is the exact process I had to go through with my loft. You usually have to clear it out right down to the bare bones and then build it up from there. But I still love demolition. This is better than any therapy you can buy, I'll tell you that.
And although you can buy a finished condo in Ari's building for less than $200,000, for him, the project has been nothing short of priceless.
This was the first really big thing for me. This was everything and my all. I got broken bones, a lot of debt, and a really beautiful project that's turned out to be everything I've hoped it could be and more.
So for less than 200 grand, you can get a Soho-style loft in Binghamton, New York. 1,100 square feet, 1 bed, and 1 bath, with luxurious modern detailing and plenty of old-fashioned personality in the heart of Binghamton's urban renewal. Binghamton is home to Binghamton University, which is part of the State University of New York system. The school has been lauded as the premier public university of the Northeast. Coming up, a classic colonial that came with a killer price tag.
We paid $102,000 for it.
And in Atlanta, an architect in training made her home her personal project. Just ahead on what you get for the money.